Everyone's talking about off campus right now, the romance, the chemistry, the spicy scene.
What, I hope you study and you play my fake boyfriend to get Justin's attention? Deal.
What nobody is talking is about the parenting. And as a conscious parenting coach, I watched the show and I couldn't stop because there are 6 moments in the series that every Indian parent needs to see. Moments about how we raise boys, about how we're teaching our daughters without realizing it, and what really happens when a child is assaulted and whether they feel safe enough to call home. Stay till number 4 because that scene literally broke me and I think it'll break you as well. Before I get into the 6 moments, here's a quick note. If you haven't watched Off Campus yet, I'll keep this spoiler light as possible, but some of what I'm about to discuss includes themes of sexual assault and trauma handled with care, but I want you to know that upfront. And one more thing, I'm not reviewing this as a critic, I'm just watching it as a mother, as someone who coaches parents every single day, thousands of parents in my offline and online workshops, and as someone whose daughter is approaching that age where these conversations aren't really hypothetical anymore, but they're just urgent. So let's get into it.
I don't want to stop. I can do this.
No, you don't have to.
But
Number 1, how we raise our boys. There's a scene where Garrett, the male lead, realizes Hannah's uncomfortable, and he does something that I think shocked a lot of viewers because how rare is it on screen? He stops. No convincing, no pressure, no are you sure, no making her feel guilty. He simply prioritizes her feelings over his own desires. And I paused the show and thought, when was the last time I saw a male lead actually do that? Not as a plot device, not as, look how woke he is in that moment, just basic respect. Here's what hit me as a parent. We spend enormous amount of energy teaching our girls, protect yourself, protect, watch your drink, don't walk alone, carry pepper spray. How much time do we spend teaching our boys that respect isn't about getting what you want? It's about what you do when someone says no. As a conscious parenting coach, I'll tell you, consent education doesn't start at 18. It literally starts when your 4-year-old doesn't want to hug someone and you say, that's okay, that's your body, your choice. You do not push them, go hug that auntie or go hug that uncle. That's where Garrett's character was actually built. Somewhere a parent taught him that. Number 2, we need to talk about dating. What I loved about Garrett and Hannah's relationship is it wasn't built on grand gestures, love at first sight, I can't live without you moment after 3 episodes. It was literally built on conversation, friendship, trust, listening. 2 people actually getting to know each other before falling for each other. And I thought, is this what our children think a relationship looks like? Because if their reference point is Instagram reels, Bollywood movies, the answer is no. If our children are old enough to date, and in 2026, that's younger than we want to admit. They're old enough to know what a healthy relationship realistically feels like. What does respect look like in a relationship? What does communication actually look like? What does it mean to disagree without destroying someone? These aren't conversations most Indian families have. Off campus shows us exactly why we should.
I asked Cindy to make the mac and cheese. With the breadcrumbs.
Like Mom used to make.
Number 3 is stop making children carry our dreams. The scenes between Garrett and his father are so difficult to watch, and I think they're difficult because they're familiar. You can see it in Garrett's body language, a child trying to constantly meet expectations that were never fully his own, performing to someone else's ambition, chasing a goal not because he wants it, but because he can't bear to disappoint the person who gave up everything for him. I see this in my coaching sessions more than almost anything else. The child who chose engineering because his dad said so, the child who chose medicine because we've had a legacy family of doctors, the child who quit painting because how can that even be a career option? And the parents always say the same thing, we are choosing what is best for them. I know, I believe you, but the best for them and the best version of our dream are not always the same thing. One thing I do with parents when I often coach them is I ask them to write down their top 3 dreams for their child. Then I ask which of these are your dreams and which are really theirs. Trust me, the silence after that question will tell you everything. Our children deserve our support, not our pressure disguised as love.
I should have.
You went to a party, Sweet Pea. You were a high school kid who had a drink, that's all. You didn't do anything wrong.
Number 4, be that person they call. There's a scene, a phone call home, the daughter is falling apart, she's scared, she's overwhelmed, she's carrying guilt that isn't really hers to carry, and she calls her parents. Not a friend, not a therapist, not Google, she just calls her parent. And what her mother says to her, I had to literally pause the show. She doesn't say, what were you thinking? She doesn't make it all about herself or her fear. She reminds her daughter, you went to a party, you had a drink, and then something really bad happened to you. This was not your mistake. You are not a burden. That is the dream. Not raising children who never make mistakes, not raising children who never end up in situations they can't control. That's impossible. That's a fantasy. The dream is raising a child who, in the worst moment of their life, reaches their phone and calls you. And here's the thing that hit me hardest. That phone call didn't happen by accident. That call happened because of every conversation that came before it. Every time that mother didn't judge, every time the mother listened without trying to fix and trying to problem solve. You can tell me anything. And she actually really meant it. Trust me, as a conscious parenting coach, I work with parents on this every single day, and I tell them, you're not building a relationship for today. You're building that relationship with your child for your child to reach out to you in the worst night of their life. Everything you do now, the way you respond when they fail, the way they react when they confess to you, the way you hold space when they're scared, is an investment in whether that phone call comes to you or goes to someone else or goes to no one at all. After that heaviness, I want to talk to you about something that gave me hope in this show.
I always knew. I thought you'd tell me when you were ready.
Number 5, friendships can change everything. The friendships. The boys show up for each other. Hannah and Ali show up for each other. No judgment, no competition. I'm here. There's a moment where Ali finally tells Hannah what happened to her, and Hannah's response is in shock or pity. She says something like, I knew, I was just waiting for you to tell me when you were ready. That's not friendship, that's safety. And as parents, we obsess over grades, rankings, extracurriculars, school admissions. We rarely ask, does my child have one person, one real friend who can hold space for them like that? Research consistently shows that a single close friendship in adolescence is one of the strongest protective factors against depression, anxiety, self-harm. One friend, not a social circle, not popularity, one person who says, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. Are we helping our children build that, or are we just so busy scheduling their lives that they don't have really the time to build it themselves? And number 6, trauma doesn't have to define a child. What happened to Hannah in this show is heartbreaking, but what stayed with me wasn't the trauma. It was really the healing, the people who believed her, the people who didn't ask, what were you wearing? Or where were you there? Why were you there? People who stood by her, the people who reminded her what happened to her was not who she is. We cannot prevent every painful experience our children will have. That's the hardest truth of parenting. Control is an illusion, but we can shape what happens after. Does our child believe they can recover? Does our child have people who believe in them? Does our child know that the worst chapter of their life is not their whole story? That belief doesn't come from a therapist's office. It actually comes from home. It comes from the thousands of small moments that you build with them, where you showed them you are more than the worst chapter of your life. I started watching Off Campus because everyone was talking about it. I finished it thinking about my own daughter. Beneath the romance is a story about respect. Beneath the drama is a story about connection. And beneath every difficult moment is a reminder that children don't need perfect parents. They need safe relationships. Because when life gets messy, and it always does, the greatest gift we can give our children is knowing they have somewhere safe to come back to. If this hit you the way it actually hit me, share it with a fellow parent, the one in your building, your sister, your WhatsApp group, the parent who just started watching Off Campus and hasn't thought about it through this lens yet. And of course, comment below which of the 6 lessons you resonate with the most, and I'll see you guys next week.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kids Talk Press now.